When I talk about high blood pressure, you have to break a belief system because it's a religion and it's not fact. And so I say, should everybody have exactly the same blood pressure all the time, like the 400-pound cigar store owner and the 12-year-old gymnast? And people look confused, and then they say, well, no, that doesn't make sense. And I said, should your blood pressure be the same when you run upstairs or when you're sitting or when you're sleeping? Should it go up and down during those activities? Then again, they look confused and they say, well, of course it's going to go up if I run upstairs. Oh, so what you're telling me is that blood pressure goes up and down depending on the need. Well, it's based on thought or perception. Like if you and me are watching a scary movie, blood pressure is going to go up. If you're in a relaxed state, it goes down. So we have this automatic nervous system that gauges what cardiac physiology, respiratory rates, digestion rates, and it's only in two switches. So every human being has two switches. You're either in a fight or flight state, which is sympathetic, or a parasympathetic, rest, digest, and repair. Now the heart has two nerve supplies. One's sympathetic at the top of the thoracic, the other's parasympathetic up here. So based on physical, chemical, or emotional stress, the blood pressure and heart rate have to go up. So, and who comes up with blood pressure? Well, there's a joint national committee in America. Pharmaceutical reps own hospitals, and they decide what your blood pressure should be. So in 1994, they said everyone should be 120/80. That's everybody. Now, does that sound stupid or stupid? Well, they changed it in 2004 to everyone should be 150/75. What data points are they using? Nothing. And now that got blood pressure so low that people were passing out. Because I tell you, if you're taking a drug to lower blood pressure, does that help oxygen to the brain or slow it down? Okay, so I got to say it like that so people start to break their belief system in the religion of medicine. And when you understand that beautiful brain that you have only weighs a kilo, 2 pounds, and it burns 90% of the body's oxygen. If you lower oxygen to the brain, then the body wants to kick the legs out to get the brain level with gravity to keep the brain alive. So this is why when you take a blood pressure drug, if you read the label, it says it can cause dizziness, brain fog, fatigue, everything. Yeah, you're lowering oxygen to the brain. In fact, you're lowering oxygen to all the tissue. Well, luckily in 2014, the Joint National Committee 8 met, and they said, if you're over 60, it should be 159/90. And then the American College of Cardiology in 2017 said, we have no data to support this. We just feel 130/80 is right. And then when people hear this psychosis, and they're thinking that medicine is actually based in actual science, and then you look at a human body that for every 1 pound of fat, you have a mile of blood vessels. So if somebody's 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, you're talking 20, 30 miles more blood vessels. So what do you think pressure has to do? It's got to increase to adapt to the obesity. So it's foolishness to give a chemical to lower blood pressure to what they think is normal. It's mind-bogglingly stupid when the body is self-regulating and self
Yeah,
healing.
yeah. And also about the cardiovascular system is very interesting, sir, because people who have health issues, they're afraid to work out. They say, okay, I'm going to put too much pressure on myself, I'm going to die. But I think it's different. You have to work out. You have to pump the blood all the time to keep your cardiovascular system working. Look at these guys. We're not going to go very far, like famous guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, let's say, or Sylvester Stallone. Those guys are almost 80 years old, you know.
Mm.
And Schwarzenegger has what he has an artificial.
Oh, either a stent or a valve, one of the others.
I think he has one of those artificial valves in his heart, and he's still working out. He's still pumping iron because he knows he has a good advisors as doctors. he knows that you got to work out to keep the blood going.
100%. I mean, our physiology is thousands of years old. We're a hunter gatherer physiology. And when you look at it, there's real high disease rates in sedentary lifestyles because you got to move your body in order to
Yep.
keep it healthy, and high disease rates in extreme athletes. And so when you're at a really high level, and let's say, and I don't know what Mr. Schwarzenegger or Stallone, which I love both those guys. They're really cool, except
Yeah,
for
they
their,
inspired a lot of people. Yeah.
yeah, except for some of their views on
Yeah,
forced
I
medical
know that.
procedures.
We know that. Yeah.
I love their movies, man.
The
Okay,
movies are good, but the lefty, that's Hollywood.
oh yeah, yeah, and that the truth will eventually come out. But
Exactly.
if anytime you give a hormone, which is a chemical communicator to someone, you can damage tissue. So if people are taken, and I don't know what their medical, view is, but if you take a steroid, which anabolic steroids, build muscle. If you take testosterone, which again, it's a synthetic hormone, but your body produces something similar to that, then you can damage tissue. And this is where a lot of the tissue damage occurs, because the heart, man, it starts beating before you're born and it keeps going for the next 120 years. So any damage to the heart has to do with nerve supply or blood supply. And so the damage to the heart isn't a defect of the heart. It has to do with the environmental toxic, either physical, chemical, or emotional stressors.
Now, people who take meds, let's say they will put on meds for a while and they want to get off meds, blood pressure meds in special. How do they do that? You know?
Okay, just the first explanation I had. I know it was a pain in the butt because I do a lot of interviews, and you ask a simple question and you're expecting like a 30-second answer, and I give like a 4-minute answer.
I know, yeah, but
My kids say the same thing. Dad, can't you just say yes or no? Okay, when you look at medications, for one, the average person over 60 has taken 12 different prescriptions in America. And when I go to my clinic in other countries, I say, look, I'm from the sickest industrialized nation in the world. And so, we 5% of the world's population consuming 95% of the pharmaceuticals. And so consequently, we're the sickest industrialized nation ever. So, how do you get off medications? Well, first, it's illegal for a chiropractor to say, stop taking the medications. But what I can do is explain how the medications work. And I say, look, I'm going to give you advice your grandmother would give you. First, don't take two drugs together, particularly blood pressure drugs, because the University of Alabama did a study, and they said if you're taking 3 blood pressure drugs, your risk of stroke is 248% increase. And you might say, well, I thought blood pressure drugs reduce stroke. Okay, let's go in it. The body is self-regulating. So if you're dehydrated, your blood pressure's here. If you slept poor, it's here. If you're under physical stress, it's here. And you take a chemical to lower it, the body's got to constrict those blood vessels in order to get it back up. And that vasoconstriction is going to cause an interruption of blood flow to certain areas. But the body is doing that constriction to elevate the pressure, because you've chemically forced it down lower by taking an ACE inhibitor, or a calcium channel blocker, a beta blocker, a diuretic, one of the chemicals that forces it down lower. And the body's got to get it back up. So this is why taking multiple drugs together, there's no science behind it. So I say, look, just don't take 2 drugs together. Separate them by, half an hour, drink a glass of water in between. Just common sense. And when people say, well, there's not enough hours in the day. And I said, well, do what you can. Okay. And then if there's still, you can still see that the mental, because people don't take these drugs because it makes them feel better. They take it out of fear and ignorance, because the doctor said, look, take this or you're going to die. Okay. Well, look, take one drug of everything that you're going to take in that day, grind it up to a powder, and bring it to the police and say, somebody tried to slip me this. Can you do a toxicology analysis on it? Are they trying to heal me or kill me? And then they like, oh, doc, I'm not going to do that. And then I tell them the same question. And this is a trip. Okay. When you get a group of people from all around the world and you ask them one question and they have the same answer. So let's say, I'm talking to somebody who's taken either one or multiple medications. Let's say you and me are left alone on a deserted island. You only have fresh fruit, fresh fish, fresh vegetables, fresh water. You have no access to pharmaceuticals. Do you get healthier or sicker?
You
And
get
what
healthier.
healthier, 100% say.
Yeah.
They know. So innately, we know that this stuff does not make us healthy. So now, going back to the original explanation, carbon dioxide. I show them this FDA approved, the Fraud and Drug Administration, okay, approved device guaranteed to lower blood pressure by deep breathing 15 minutes a day. Now, it doesn't force oxygen in your system. You listen to a tune and you breathe into the tune, then you breathe out to the tune. And so it causes you to deep breathe for 15 minutes, lowers your blood pressure all day long. So I tell people, look, to get off of this stuff, diaphragmatic breathe, and I got to teach people how to breathe through their diaphragm. And I say, look, deep breathe for 15 minutes. Don't spend the $400 on the respirate machine. Just deep breathe for 15 minutes and then check your blood pressure and mark it down. Then call the drug guy that gave you it, because I can't call him a doctor, because that's not what a doctor should do. They're poisoning the patient. And tell them you're reading your blood pressure, and they're going to stop the diuretic first because that damages the kidneys. Okay. And then they're going to stop the beta blocker, which blocks the sympathetic nerve supply to the heart. Okay. And then they're going to stop the other ones. Or I tell them about Dr. McDougall's clinic up in Northern California called True North, what he does, because there is no science to get off of medications, and there is absolutely no science to show that multiple medications make you live longer and healthier. What he does is day one, you throw every drug in the trash can except for insulin. And he has an in-house facility, so because people are going to sweat, they're going to get diarrhea. He can give them healthy juices, healthy starches, healthy proteins, so he can monitor their physiology a lot better. So find a doctor that understands it. And what I do with all my patients, I show them the effects of it. I say, look, the doctor prescribed this antidepressant for sleep, which is super common, or this diuretic for swelling, which causes kidney damage and everything else. I show them the effects of it, and they're experiencing those effects, or they don't want to. And I said, look, just separate the drugs. Now, give your doctor this piece of paper, and see if he has any questions, he can call me. So it's really breaking the mindset to get them off of the drugs. But once they start deep breathing, their blood pressure normalizes.
Yeah, the breathing, that's from yoga, from Indian philosophy. Breathing, we just breathe in. That's very simple. It's crazy. The simple thing is it's rejected. No, give me the meds. Give me the meds. I don't believe in breathing. I'm breathing every day. But the cheap, the free remedy is the best. Breathing, walking.
It's advice your grandma would give you.
Yeah.
And then I say, look, you got to move every joint every day. You got to get an hour of exercise every day, strength and aerobics. And this is how, when we see people 60, 70, 80, 90 years old with healthy bodies and healthy brains.
Yeah.
And then we see people with 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, unhealthy bodies, unhealthy brains. They're the same species.
You see much younger than that with unhealthy bodies and unhealthy brains. You can see them right now in 20s and 30s.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. It's a drug society. But one's regenerating, one's not.
Yeah.
It's the same body.
Yeah. How about the vitamins? You said about the meds. You cannot take the meds together. How about the vitamins? Because, we take a lot of vitamins at this time. Can we take all the vitamins? Let's say you have 4 or 5 vitamins all at the same time, or still break them out and take them separately?
It really depends, because I recommend whole food forms of vitamins. That's the best, because when you're looking at nutrition, Nutrition is such a science that's not studied. It's not honored in medical school for sure. They don't teach any of that, and they don't teach it in regular schools either. But our soils are depleted in nutrients. So I tell every one of my patients there's 5 essential for girls, 6 essential for men, or women and men. And I do know the definition of a woman. So so what you need, vitamin C, but whole food form is the best. I mean, this is in spicy foods. Peppers have 10 times the amount of vitamin C. Bell peppers are even really, really high in vitamin C. Oranges, citrus fruit. But vitamin C is an antioxidant, and you break and build a billion cells a day. That's an oxidative metabolic process that creates free radicals, and antioxidants deactivate those free radicals. So that allows your body to heal. So 100% of people, I say, look, take enough vitamin C for bowel tolerance. That's when you get diarrhea, then scale back. So you inundate your body with an antioxidant. Then omega 3s, because you need the omega 3s for healthy fats. Animal sources are the best. So, anchovy, mackerel, and sardine oil, not the commercial fished ones or shark, those are toxic. And if you're a vegetarian, you got to do a huge amount of seeds like hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, because it's hard to metabolize that. Then D3 and K2, but it's better to get it from plants and animal sources. A plant-based mineral supplement has to be sea plants, because you need a nutrient-rich soil to draw the copper, selenium, and zinc, 125 different minerals out of the soil, and ionize it. New Zealand, in when I'm at a clinic in Asia, is a really good source. California is a good source for good sea plant minerals. Then iodine, Lugos iodine, is essential to protect yourself from chlorine, fluoride, and bromine exposure, but it gives your thyroid the materials to build healthy metabolic responses. And then males need a prostate formula, because most pesticides are estrogen based, and all of prostate formulas has saw pimento, maybe pumpkin seeds. So but no human being requires the same vitamins every day. So I recommend those essentials for the next 60 to 90 days based on their nutrient deficiency and toxicity. And then look at how their body functions. So as long as you're eating what your great great grandparents ate, because remember, they were crazy. They all lived, 80, 90 years old, healthy and strong, no drugs, but 100% organic, varied, seasonal, and never 3 meals a day, because that's our hunter gatherer metabolic response. So do intermittent fasting, fantastic. Try and fast at least 1 or 2 days a week. Drink healthy amounts of water, and then your body is healthy. And then decide. Like, if you're resting, you don't need a lot of vitamins after 60 days of getting your body to a nutrient level that's sufficient. And you might want to just take vitamins when you're working or when you're resting, or vary it. And then all the others, like ashwagandha, which is great, mushrooms, which are great, fantastic. You don't need them all the time. That deer antler velvet is amazing because it raises natural testosterone levels, but you don't need it every day. We don't need the same nutrients every day. We're not designed for it.
You mentioned pumpkin seeds. Now, is it okay to take pumpkin seeds in a vitamin form? It says pumpkin seeds oil or something I saw in the store. Or it's got to
Hmm.
be pumpkin seeds natural?
Look at there's magic in natural properties, and because the infancy of our understanding of human anatomy, physiology, and nutrition, it really is in its infancy. Whole food form is best. And the best description, because that's why I recommend the straight seeds, um, and organic pumpkin seeds, and you can heat them up, dry them, or grind them up, however you want to take them. But they did a study on lycopene, which is a substance out of a tomato that you can patent, and they did it on a study comparing tumors in rats, and they injected lycopene. Sure enough, the tumor shrunk. Then some researcher injected the whole tomato, which I'm sure he lost his job for, because the tumor shrunk more. And when the researchers, because the guy's going to lose his grant for doing this research because you can patent the lycopene, to explain why the tomato worked better than the lycopene, he said, well, there's over 10,000 bioactive enzymes in the tomato, and we're in our infancy of our research in how they work in the body or interaction. Did he ever recommend eating a tomato? No. So, there's magic in these foods, and a lot of them, they're called adaptogens, which means that and this is where science is missing a lot of the nutrient brilliance, is that if you and me take a tomato or a pumpkin seed or anything, your body is going to break it down and utilize what you need different than I'm going to
Yeah.
break it down and utilize what I need. It's kind of like they have a cereal called Total, which is 100% of everything you need. Yeah, a chemist may be able to break it down, but your body won't. you know. Oh,
Now, a question I have about food. You see, everybody's advising about food, eat that. But even organic food, 100% organic, is not going to help you if you eat too much of it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? If you eat,
yes.
if you eat a little bit of even junk food, but it's just a little bit, you let your body recover, kind of digest that little bit of junk food, because too much organic food does damage.
100%. And this is why human beings have been trained breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. You haven't, and so many times I hear this, and you have too in an office setting. I'm not real hungry, but let's go to lunch. Okay, let's have a break. Let's go out. Okay, and that's why intermittent fasting is good. Eat only when you're hungry. Eat what you want. Okay, because the greatest doctor in the world is inside of you. That's called an innate intelligence. So look at your craving. Like if you're craving chocolate, you need more minerals. If you're craving something sweet, you need faster energy. So look at something healthier that's more fats. Okay, but again, you've got this old hunter gatherer physiology. Okay, and so if you live according to that, then you can adapt better to our environment and you live longer and healthier. So periods of fasting, periods of feasting. Okay, and then you're in that harmonic, where your body is designed to metabolize the nutrients you're taking in, and you don't store them, because that's what fat is. It's stored energy.
Also, people nowadays eat not because they're hungry, but because they're stressed.
hmm
That's the main thing. It's a stressful. It's an entertainment already. Not eating is just entertainment all the time.
And when you look, and I keep going back to the automatic nervous system. Sympathetic means fight or flight. Parasympathetic is rest, digest, and repair. So when somebody is in a chronic state of stress, if they're chewing something, if they're swallowing something, they're forcing that parasympathetic into a type of balance. So people will say, "Well, I'm getting a low blood sugar headache. I've got to get something to eat." No, they're in a stress state. Okay, and they need that quick form of energy, which is a sugar or carbohydrate or fast food, which is nutrient poor and calorie dense. So it's not how their metabolism is.
Yeah, I notice when I am in a good mood and I'm balanced and I feel great, I don't really crave any food, and I don't really crave any like junk entertainment, like news and stuff like that. I just feel peaceful.
And it is a clue to physiology. Like when you look at kids who have brain damage, which is a lot of them, who've gone through a certain forced medical procedures, when they have an intestinal tract that's supposed to be enclosed, and if you damage the normal flora of that intestinal tract, yeast, mold, fungus, and the yeast have these little tendrils that can bore holes in the intestinal tract, or if they're taking medications, or that can damage the normal gut flora, and then that can create what's called a leaky gut or increased intestinal permeability. Man, when these guys eat gluten or casein, the proteins in there, in any protein that's not tempered by digestion, if it gets in the bloodstream, the immune system flips out. And so the gluten and casein proteins actually attach to opioid receptors in the brain. So you see these neurologic damaged kids or adults, and they eat this gluten or caseins. It's like a drug. I mean, mac and cheese and pizza is the friggin' opioid, okay,
It is,
of
yeah.
little kids, and that's why healing the gut is so gosh darn hard for the parents. But once
Yeah,
you do it, oh my gosh, you see a change in brain function, physiology, calming, everything.
yeah. Talking about food, we come into the next subject here. You have a great video on your channel. It's called Foods That Heal and Foods That Kill. And my little 5 cents here are that Mediterranean balanced diet in moderation is the best. That's my 5 cents. But I would like to listen to your lab.
It's worth a hell of a lot more than 5 cents, brother. Okay, I'm on the farm and we have olive trees, and I've got jars and jars and jars of olives brining right now, and I've got
I
a
saw
bunch
that. I
more.
saw that in your videos. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Okay, so Mediterranean diet, what is that? Okay, and why is Sardinia, okay, some part of the blue zones? Okay, and so when you look at this, you're looking at seasonal, you're looking at healthy, you're looking at healthy animals they're eating, you're looking at healthy fats they're eating, and what's part of the Mediterranean, not just the Mediterranean diet. The wine is pesticide free generally if you're looking at Italian or French. So you have the powerful antioxidants in there. I mean, Sardinia, the longest lived males on the planet, 7 liters of red wine a month. Now, I'm not promoting
I know.
7 liters of red wine a month.
No, a little bit of wine, but we'll talk about that.
A
Yeah.
little bit of wine's okay, but when you look at it, you're metabolizing it. It's varied, healthy starches, healthy plants, healthy animals, and this is closer to a normal human physiology and the healthy fats. Oh my God, you need healthy fats for brains.
Yeah.
And now, with the commercial fats that are inside of all of the packaged and processed foods, that's what's actually damaging the arteries and causing a significant stress load because you damage the arteries. Oh my gosh, you're damaging the flow of the nutrients, the flow of oxygen, and the flow of waste products. And that's what the toxic fats do in the Mediterranean diet has healthy fats and healthy fibers.
It's just like I said, it's a moderation. And when you are not stressed, when you're calm, you're not going to overeat anyway. You're just going to have a for eating a little bit of that. You don't need to calm to have an entertainment like all these foods. They have three ingredients basically. You know that it's all salt, sugar, and fat. But it's bad fats, not the good ones.
And now
Yeah.
what's the dinner like? Okay, in Mediterranean, okay, or in that Mediterranean France, Italy, Spain, Moldavia area. Okay, it's a social event. It can take hours, and you're sitting there nibbling a little, talking,
Yeah.
laughing, joying, sharing community. In America, you do the drive-through and you're eating your dinner in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It's horrible for you.
The environment when you eat your food is very important. Let's say if I go to a restaurant and I hear this music, some restaurants, I don't know who designed those restaurants. It's like you going dancing. I come here to eat now. I'm not going dancing. And if the music is not appropriate, I leave. I go to another place. I need calm music that is appropriate to the food I'm gonna eat.
We had to change a restaurant once. I went out with my wife, my sweetheart, and we go to a restaurant, and the husband and wife were running this little tiny restaurant that have gone to a bunch before, and they were arguing, and I mean really arguing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And Sarah
The
said that
energy.
energy be transferred in the food.
Exactly.
We cannot
Exactly.
eat here.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and it's irritating when your wife is right, but she is right most of the time.
That is real. Yeah, yes, sir. The energy is real. You feel. If I go to a restaurant, I look at the faces of the servers. Are they stressed or not? Are they okay? Things like that. And if I see that's some kind of tension, I don't stay there.
That's smart.
Now, next subject, sir. We have a great video on your channel. It says thoughts can heal.
Mm.
Let's talk about that a little bit. How we can heal ourselves through our thinking.
Mm. If, and again, this is that where the medical system kind of knows that emotions are a component. But when I teach 100% of my patients, okay, is when you master emotions, you change your physiology, and you've got your physiology could be stressed or regenerative. Bottom line. And the way the example that you can explain it to people is, think of those people that meditate, they meditate and they could raise or lower their blood pressure, or
Yeah, yeah,
and they could hold their breath for crazy amounts of time. You master your emotions, you change your physiology. And there's three stressors: there's physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress, and we're all sitting on that three-legged stool. You take one of the legs away, that stool doesn't work. So you cannot fix physical stress. You cannot reverse a disease process unless you're addressing all three of those. And so emotions are chemicals secreted by how the brain perceives the environment, not what's actually happening. And when you look at anxiety, stress, depression, impulse control, attention deficit disorder, um, a schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. All of these are features of the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is programmed by the cerebellum and the little brain in the back. And the cerebellum gets its input from the position and motion of the vertebrae. And then you have the gut brain or the enteric brain connection. So this is why is where the gut is where neurotransmitters are produced. So to heal the chronic emotional state, and let me tell you, if you've had some type of physical injury, you're going to have an emotional component. If you have or watching TV, if you're choosing because you choose on this thing, and the algorithms are going to input in your brain joy or stress. And so you have to master your emotional state, and there's a way to do it. There's several methods. I mean, diaphragmatic breathing, heart math breathing is fantastic. Neurolinguistic programming, where you're reprogramming that frontal lobe. But you have to understand that there is an emotional component to everything. Every disease process has to be addressed through an emotional component. Every regenerative longevity, you have to address it, and you have to do it daily. And I do the neurolinguistic programming every day. I have to. If I let my emotions happen by chance, I'm in deep trouble. So you master your emotions, you change your physiology. It's just that's it's equally as important as your diet, equally as important as what you do with your body.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that might be even more important because stress is like number one. It is the number one health damaging factor. I think stress. People die from stress, and everything just compounds. They start eating too much. They start stressing. They feel bad, and
Hmm.
you know.
And that's the three stressors. That's because people when they come to me, Sergi, they say I'm in so much stress, and I say, look, well, cool. There's only three stressors, so let's break it down. You got physical stress. We see that on the X-ray. Okay, chemical stress. That's toxic diet, medications, and poor sleep is a chemical stressor. And then we have emotional stress, and I'm going to show you solutions for all three. Then your body can be in a health regenerative state. Bottom line. So it's overwhelming when people don't know that there's solutions.
Yeah, and interesting. We're talking about health right now. It's like people don't pay attention. Okay, they watch news. They can watch cartoons. They can whatever. But health is wealth. Let's say you are a billionaire, you got everything in your life. But if you don't have health, my friend, I mean, that's like nothing. So that's number one. Health is number one in your life. This is the number one wealth you have.
Hmm.
That's my little couple cents here. Now, next,
And it's true.
I know. Now, next subject, sir. I know you have a great video on your channel as well. My audience is mostly age of between 45 and 65 because I talk about philosophy, I talk about the deep things that people are interested more, older people are. So my next subject is
Hey,
this.
wait. You just said older people? I'm going to be
No, no,
60.
no,
I'm
no,
going to
no,
be
not older.
65 in a couple
More,
of months.
more advanced. I
More advanced. Good. Sorry.
okay, but we're not. Yeah, more advanced people. We're not going to talk about that in it. We're not going to mention this in the podcast. We're the same age, by the way. You are born in 1960, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great
What's the
year.
month? What month? I
April.
know. April. I'm in August. You are 3 months older than me.
Oh, good.
But you know why it's a great year? Because, sir, you see, we are covering all the generations. We're moving right now because it's a great shift right now. The awakening is going on.
Amen.
Now, let's talk about one subject, great sex at any age. Because people think that, okay, after whatever, 50, 60, 70, forget about sex.
Oh,
But I
God,
would
no.
like to hear your thoughts about this.
Okay. When you look at it, it's absolutely vital. And this is at every age. And this is one of the reasons that people lose their love and appreciation of life. Now, when you're looking at a lot of foods, they're labeled ladled with pesticides, and pesticides are estrogen based. There's a lower level of testosterone, but the biggest thing with sex is we need our automatic nervous system. You have parasympathetic and sympathetic. And the way I would explain it to my doctors is parasympathetic is the pointing or arousal, sympathetic is the ejaculation or climax. We call it pointing and shooting, parasympathetic, sympathetic. So you need both of those. You need a balanced automatic nervous system state. And when you're in a chronic state of stress, sympathetic, you're going to be climaxing too early. It won't be fun. It's going to be hard to be aroused. When you're in a parasympathetic state, you may be aroused, but you're never going to climax. So you need that balance of nervous system. But you also, so that means you need that joy, that love, that balance, that dynamic energy, that vibrancy. And so when you understand, and this is why our bodies are designed to go to 120 years old. So at 60, we're still teenagers. And if you have a normal healthy diet, and if you do sleep good, and then you do fill your mind with joy and challenge, because you can't be in parasympathetic all the time, you can't be in joy all the time, that's psychosis. And you can't be in stress all the time, that's psychosis. So you need that balance. And then when you have that balance, and then you can appreciate your partner, and then you're going to stimulate, because how do you arouse your partner? Soft music, lights, a massage. You're stimulating that parasympathetic or the arousal. And then, you get that passion and love and joy. Okay. And then that's the sympathetic. So, it's a nervous system issue. It's also an environmental issue, but it's also a practice, because if you think that you're supposed to be old at 50 or old at 60, no, I mean, I've got patients, you know, 80, 90, and they're vibrant. When they're still married, they're saying, oh my God, the sex is not as frequent, but it's just as wonderful. Oh, and that's our potential. We've been lied to.
Now it's interesting with the body regeneration because we don't know, people don't know about this, but it's body, if you let it regenerate, you just don't interfere with it, let it regenerate, then it does miracles.
It does. And again, you got to break belief systems. If they think their body is going to continue to decline, that's not true. Okay, in they say human beings are just like plants. You get a plant, okay, and it's got two stages. It can grow or die. It never stays the same. Human beings can regenerate or decline. And we need this breakdown and buildup of cells to be healthy. And so you break down a billion cells a day, you build a billion cells a day. The key is, as we age, we get more exposure to the environment. It's our digestion process goes a little bit slower. So this is where We have to watch our nutrients, but as long as you move every joint every day, you're going to be regenerating. But most of that regeneration occurs at night. So if you're filling your brain with videos or TV or anything that interrupts melatonin, or if you're in a chronic state of stress, you're not going to be regenerating. And regeneration, you go through these coma-like states when you're asleep, and these are called rapid eye movements. They only last 90 minutes, but this is when 100% of your energies go into regeneration. When you complete that cycle, your eyes open, then they close. And if you have any little kids, watch them, because while they're sleeping, every 90 minutes they go through the cycle, their eyes open. And if there's enough light to see your hand in front of your face, bam, the fight or flight system kicks up, and you got to get up to pee or roll over because you're uncomfortable. So your environment, your regeneration environment, and this is something our parents never taught us, is sleep's the most important part of your day. This is when your body breaks and builds cells. So if you can go to sleep and sleep 7.5 hours, 6.5 to 7.5 hours, which is optimal human function, bam, you're regenerating. If you sleep more than 9 hours, you're looking at poor brain stimulation, increased Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Sleep less than 5 hours, you're looking at chronic disease rates. So sleep is the most important part, but dealing with the three stressors.
Well, I noticed myself. Let's say I fly in the airplane and I didn't sleep for 24 hours. And then I take a nap. I'm telling the doctor, 5 minutes nap. And I'm like, okay, I'm all regenerated. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be running for another 24 hours, but for 3 or 4 hours, I'm good. This is the amazement of the body, how it works.
Yeah, yeah. Jet lag, I'm extremely good at dealing with. I mean, figure when I'm flying to Asia, it's 18, 20 hours to get to Thailand, and there's ways to get over jet lag within a day. You just don't sleep a whole bunch, don't drink a whole bunch of alcohol on the plane, to hydrate a lot and live to that time frame, not your old time frame. And usually 24, 48 hours max, you're over jet lag.
Okay, so let's hear that. How do you do that in 24 hours? How do you get over the jet lag in 24 hours?
Okay, so I leave LAX, and I got to land at one of the intermediate airports, whether Incheon or Taiwan or the Philippines or Japan, and that takes around 13 to 14 hours, something like that. So you can sleep the first 4 or 5 hours, then after that, start to look or live towards that time frame. So if it's, depending on when the flight left, if it's in the morning, stay up the next 10 hours. Or if, sleep the first like 6, 7 hours, okay, and then, go up, because all the flights leave at different times. And then you live directly toward that time. And that's the first day. Oh, brother, it's like running a marathon. So you might say, well, it's really 2 o'clock in the morning, but it's 7 o'clock in the evening there or something, and you got to stay awake until 9:30 to 10 o'clock at night. Being asleep between 10 and 5 is going to be optimal, or 10 to 5:30 is going to be ideal. So that's what your goal is, to make it to 9:30 to 10 o'clock at the new environment, and then force yourself to stay in bed, and then get out of bed and go all day long like gangbusters. You may be freaking exhausted, but the next day you'll be adapted, and then you'll be okay. But increase your fats, get avocados, get some coconut oil, healthy fats. Look at hydrate your body like crazy. Get your body with healthy starches and healthy proteins, and you're going to be fine.
And by the way, it's a personal question. We may not use it in the podcast, but this is the question. I've been watching some of your videos, and there are comments. Okay, this doctor, he's overweight, he's talking about health. I'm sure you read those comments too.
All the time.
What's your input about this?
All the time. It has to do with cortisol. And when you're looking at cortisol, you're looking at belly, seat, and thigh weight distribution. And with my lifestyle, it's a very stressful lifestyle. And in the last probably 2, 3 years, I've been able to manage those stressors a heck of a lot better. So
Yeah.
I've lost about 25, 30 pounds, and I'm still is still about 20 pounds overweight, but it's not really an issue. I'm not dieting, I'm exercising. I have tons of energy throughout the day. I sleep like a rock, okay? And I wake up and my physiology is fine. So not everybody has an ectomorphic body where they're very, very thin. I also have incredibly wide shoulders, and I'm an ectomorph where I've got large bones, large everything. And going on the stress level that I have, having 3 clinics in 3 different countries, and then running a couple of other businesses, yeah, I'm now balancing because it's dealing with stress, physical, chemical, emotional stress is an issue with me all the time. And this is why I've got to do my mental exercises every day. I've got to eat correctly every day. And I've got to, work hard every day. And what's a trip is, every time I see those comments, I say, yeah, yeah, work alongside of me. Okay. Adjust people for 12 hours and see which one of us standing at the end of the day. And so it's not just being overweight. And they do say that if you do have a little extra weight, you have more energy, you can live longer, you're healthier than the people that are underweight. But being 30 to 40 pounds overweight is not healthy. And I'm really transparent. I tell people, what my diet, exercise, and my daily routine is, because I'm literally up at 4 o'clock every morning. I go to bed about 9:30 every night, and I'm literally working from about 5 or 6 in the morning till about 5 or 6 at night, at least 5, sometimes 6 days a week when I'm in Asia.
But why do you think you are so driven to work so much? Do you think like you have a mission? I know I'm pretty sure that you're not that much in need of money at this point. But what is driving you so much to work?
Um, when you look at it, it's a duty, okay, to mankind. When I'm working on human beings, okay, I have a view that they are divinely created, that there is a life force inside of human beings, that I mean, there are a lot of the Abrahamic faiths. They say the body is made in the image and likeness of God. And in other faiths, they say that you're more energy than matter. And so, no matter what it is, the world was literally designed for you, and you were designed for that world. And I have a mission to release this life force energy, because I'm not curing disease or doing any of that stuff. That's not what a chiropractic neurologist does. Okay, they remove the interference so the body can adapt correctly. And so I'm working with this life force energy every day in a population that is generally ignorant of that life force. They think they have a disease, that it runs in the family, or it's genetic, or they can't do anything. I got to tell you, I work with genetic anomalies every day. I work with people that have huge disease processes, and you see them reversed. And so and this is why I've got to do the teaching. I have to do it. I have to. If I have a free minute, if I'm in an elevator, if I'm in a taxi cab going to a speech, I'm talking to the taxi driver. Okay, because we have to change the world, and we change the world by changing each person individually, and then that person can affect others. So I'm literally trying to infect the world with health, okay, with knowledge, because it's not there. And when you have that, you have this driving force that people are perfect, they're brilliant, and their bodies are adapting correctly. And I have to get that information out. It's like when I'm working on the farm. If I can change the earth to have this barren dirt to produce fruit and life, and then you bring the bacteria back in the soil, it's like I taking care of the earth, I take care of the planets. And it's only from this attitude, from when I got started in this. I was literally hit by a car, and had my legs broken, sternum fractured, everything else, and I thought I was going to die. I mean, when I'm in the emergency room and intensive care, I really thought that this is it. And it gave me great introspective to what have I done in the first 30 years? Am I making a difference in the world? Do I really want to? Why should I want to do that? And then it was just like God gave me a second chance.
Yeah,
And it's like, man, every time I'm breathing, I better be trying to make a difference.
yeah. I know your story, sir. I know. Yeah, that was a wake up call from God, and you said, "Okay, I'm gonna." And you see, you healed yourself through your thoughts, pretty much too. Like we talk about, the thoughts can heal. Yeah, you through your willpower as well. You just decided to think that you're gonna get healthy, and then you start doing the exercises and the diet, and everything just reverses because the body wants to heal. Just let it heal. Don't interfere.
Okay, I was putting an X-ray lab in for a chiropractor, and I was a contractor. And I threw my back out. He adjusted me, and it was amazing. And he told me how the body works, and I said, "This is fantastic." And he said, "You should be a chiropractor. You got your strong body, you got good communication skills." I said, "Look, dude, I got a construction business. It takes me 6 grand a month to live. I've got 4 employees. There's no way." The next week, I'm hit by a car. And the medical doctors are saying, "Don't worry about it. We'll give you drugs. Eventually, we'll have to replace both your knees, but you're going to be fine." And then the chiropractors adjusted me while I'm in the wheelchair. And I told him what the medical doctor said. And the medical, and he says, "Oh, forget that stuff. Have you ever cut yourself?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm a contractor." "Did it ever heal?" "Yeah, every time." "Well, your body will heal. It's designed to regenerate." And I thought, here are these two medical professionals. Both I respected them. The medical world kept me alive, thank God. Okay, and this guy's saying, no, your body's ability to regenerate. That made a hell of a lot more sense to me because I don't want to take drugs. I mean, because when I'm in the hospital and I took morphine, it was like wonderful. Oh my God, can I have more? I only did 3 rounds of it because then I realized that I wanted that third one. I didn't need it. And I've got a history in my family of seeing drug addicts and overdoses and everything else. So I thought, oh God, my God, no, I can't have any of that. And the body does regenerate. And then I saw the magic. I started to tutor human dissection, and then I taught human dissection, and it's a miracle what the body is. People don't know, and it's like I know a secret, and I got to tell them that no, you don't have this disease process. You have an adaptive physiology, that your body is adapting to the stress. When we address it, then your body can regenerate. Who with that knowledge, how could you not teach and work as much as you possibly can?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, last questions before we go to the contact details. The name of my show is about Freedom Show. Dr. Bergman, what's your definition of freedom?
God, being able to express yourself fully without restrictions. Okay, and that would be. It's interesting. I was talking to Mr. Kennedy, and he was in my office, and this is back when they were forcing the medical procedures
The
on
JFK
people.
Jr., RFK Jr.?
Yeah, Robert
Yeah,
Kennedy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, call me Bobby. No, I've got I got so much respect for him.
He's amazing.
He's
Oh my God.
amazing. But he said it wasn't medical freedom, and that was what I was focused on. He said censorship is the worst thing. And so I should be allowed to express myself and express my opinion on anatomy, physiology, health, or whatever in a fair environment. And so literally freedom would be allowing me to do things as long as I don't harm anyone. So natural law, I'm a big fan of. Okay, that I don't harm myself. That's going to be up to me. And so I don't want any governmental restrictions limiting what I can do with myself, as long as I don't harm others. And that I and my goal is to elevate everyone into that freedom of expression in life.
All right, Dr. Bergman. Now, if people want to find more about you, what you're doing, about your clinics, would you like to tell us here?
The best thing is I'm on almost every social media: YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Instagram. We have a new website coming out called adaptivephysiology.com. That's going to be huge, but right now it's DRB VIP, Dr. B VIP. And I've got clinics in Bergman Family Chiropractic in Tijuana, Mexico, Huntington Beach, and I'm developing a clinic in Bangkok. So find me anywhere. If you have any questions, you can call my office and leave it. And I usually answer emails and questions about once a week, and I try to get to them all.